The term mecha may refer to both scientific ideas and science fiction genres that centers on robots or machines controlled by people. These machines vary greatly in size and shape, but are distinguished from vehicles by the humanoid or biomorphic appearance. Different subgenres exist with varying connotations of realism. The concept of super robot and real robot are two such examples found in Japanese anime. The term may also refer to real-world piloted humanoid robots, non-humanoid robotic platforms, either currently in existence or still on the drawing board. Alternatively, in the original Japanese context of the word mecha may refer to mobile machinery, vehicles in general, manned or otherwise. Characteristics. The word mecha is an abbreviation first used in Japanese of the word mechanical. In Japanese, mecha encompasses all mechanical objects, including cars, guns, computers, and other devices, and the term robot or giant robot to distinguish limbed vehicles from other mechanical devices. Outside of this usage, it has become associated with large robots with limbs or other biological characteristics. While the distinction is often hazy, mecha typically does not refer to form-fitting powered armor such as Iron Man's suit. They are usually much larger than the wearer, like Iron Man's enemy the Ironmonger, and possess a cockpit from which they are operated. In most fiction in which they appear, mecha are fighting machines, whose appeal comes from the combination of potent weaponry with a more stylish combat style than a mere vehicle. Often they are the primary means of combat, with conflict sometimes being decided through gladiatorial matches. Other works represent mecha as one component of an integrated military force, supported by and fighting alongside tanks, fighter aircraft, and infantry, functioning as a mechanical cavalry. The applications often highlight the theoretical usefulness of such a device, combining a tank's resilience and firepower with infantry's ability to cross unstable terrain and a high degree of customization. In some continuities, special scenarios are constructed to make mecha more viable than current-day status. For example, in Gundam the fictional Minovsky particle inhibits the use of radar, making long-range ballistic strikes impractical, thus favoring relatively close-range warfare of mobile suits. However, some stories, such as the manga anime series Patlabor and the American wargame Battletech universe, also encompass mecha used for civilian purposes such as heavy construction work, police functions or firefighting. Mecha also see roles as transporters, recreation, advanced hazmat suits and other R&D applications. Mecha have been used in fantasy settings, for example in the anime series Aura Battle Dumbine, The Vision of Escaflowne, Panzerworld Gallant and Maze. In those cases, the mecha designs are usually based on some alternative or lost science fiction technology from ancient times. In case of anime series Zoids, the machines resemble dinosaurs and animals, and have been shown to evolve from native metallic organisms. Early history. The 1880 Jules Verne novel La Maison à Vapeur featured a steam-powered, piloted mechanical elephant. One of the first appearances of such machines in modern literature was the tripods of H.G. Wells' famous The War of the Worlds. The novel does not contain a fully detailed description of the tripod's mode of locomotion, however it is hinted at. Can you imagine a milking stool tilted and bowled violently along the ground? That was the impression those instant flashes gave. But instead of a milking stool, imagine it a great body of machinery on a tripod stand. Two of the earliest uses of mecha in the United States were Kimball Kinnison's battlesuit in E. Dr. Smith's Lensman novel Galactic Patrol, and the mobile infantry battlesuits in Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers. Mecha were popularized by Japanese anime and manga. The first humanoid giant robot is Tetsujin 28 Go, introduced in 1956. Tetsujin was controlled externally via remote control by an operator. The first occurrence of mecha being piloted by a user from within a cockpit was introduced in the manga and anime series Mazinger Z by Go Nagai, first published in 1972. Genres. In manga and anime in Japan, robot anime is one of the oldest genres in anime. Robot anime is often tied in with toy manufacturers. Large franchises such as Zoids and Gundam have hundreds of different model kits. The size of mecha can vary according to the story and concepts involved. Some of them may not be considerably taller than a tank, some may be a few stories tall, others can be as tall as a skyscraper. Some are big enough to contain an entire city, some the size of a planet, galaxies, or even as large as universes. The first giant robot seen was Mitsutaro Yokoyama's 1956 manga Tetsujin 28 Go. However, it wasn't until the advent of Go Nagai's Mazinger Z that the genre was established. Mazinger Z innovated by adding the inclusion of futuristic weapons, and the concept of being able to pilot from a cockpit. According to Go Nagai, I wanted to create something different, and I thought it would be interesting to have a robot that you could drive, like a car. Mazinger Z featured giant robots which were piloted by means of a small flying car and command center that docked inside the head. Quote, it was also a pioneer in die-cast metal toys such as the Chogokin series in Japan and the Shogun Warriors in the U.S. that were very popular with children and collectors. Robot, mecha anime and manga differ vastly in storytelling and animation quality from title to title, and content ranges all the way from children's shows to ones intended for an older teen or adult audience. Some robot mecha are capable of transformation, combining to form even bigger ones. Go Nagai is also often credited with inventing this in 1974 with the television series Get a Robo. Not all mecha need be completely mechanical. Some have biological components with which to interface with the pilots, and some are partially biological themselves, such as Neon Genesis Evangelion, Eureka 7, and Zoids. Mecha based on anime have seen extreme cultural reception across the world. The personification of this popularity can be seen as one-to-one size Mazinger Z, Tetsujin, and Gundam statues built across the world. In film, the Star Wars series of films contained the walkers, such as the Utd and its Saint. The film Robot Jocks is based around gladiatorial combat between giant mecha. Sentinel 2099, a 1995 film, features a 40-foot-tall walking tank called a Sentinel unit. They are used to combat an alien race known as the Zisk. In Matrix Revolutions, Captain Mifune leads the human defensive Zion, piloting open cockpit mecha called the Puss against invading Sentinels. In James Cameron's 2009 film Avatar, mecha are used as instruments of war called amps. In Shane Acker's 2009 animated film 9, giant walking war machines called steel behemoths were created by the fabrication machine to destroy all life on Earth. A heavily weaponized, powered exoskeleton that envelops the operator is featured in the 2009 film District 9, and aptly named the exosuit. Guillermo del Toro's 2013 film Pacific Rim focuses on a war between humans who pilot massive mechas known as Jaegers and kaiju monsters that emerge for the Pacific Ocean. In The Amazing Spider Spider-Man 2, the Rhino abandons the traditional skin-tight rhino-like exoskeleton in favor of a powerful, one-person mech suit with some of the same physical traits, such as super strength and defense. The suit design is also kept roughly the same from the comic books. In the film Iron Man, the Ironmonger, a powered exoskeleton suit operated by Obadiah Stane, is another example of mecha. In the final scenes of the Lego Movie, the main protagonist Emmett creates a giant construction mech made of yellow Lego pieces which he pilots to fight in the final battle against Lord Business forces. In Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man uses a mecha named the Hulkbuster to fight the Hulk. In video games, mecha are often featured in computer and console video games. Because of the size and fictional power, mecha are quite popular subjects for games, both tabletop and electronic. They have been featured in video games since the 1980s, particularly in vehicular combat and shooter games, including Sesame Japan's side-scrolling shooter game Vastar in 1983, various Gundam games such as Mobile Suit Gundam, Last Shooting in 1984 and Z Gundam, Hot Scramble in 1986, the run-and-gun shooters Hover Attack in 1984 and Thexter in 1985, and Arsis Software's 3D role-playing shooters Wibam in 1986 and Starcruiser in 1988. A popular classic of mecha in games is the MechWarrior series of video games, which takes place in the BattleTech universe. Another game, Heavy Gear 2, offers a complex yet semi-realistic control system for its mecha in both terrain and outer space warfare. Armored Core is a mecha series developed by From Software, combining industrial customizable mecha designs with fast-paced action. Intelligent Systems developed and Nintendo-published games that feature mecha include Battle Clash and Metal Combat. Falcon's Revenge, a single-player shooter series mecha of games with real robot style. All battles are fought with mechs called standing tanks. Squaresoft developed games that feature mecha include Front-End Mission, a turn-based tactical series of games with real robot style mecha utilized by near-future military forces. Xenogears also used mecha, called Gears, as a main aspect of the story, and the series continues the use of mecha with the Monolith Soft-developed Xenoblade and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Older American tabletop games, BattleTech uses hex maps, miniatures and AMP paper record sheets that allow players to use mecha in tactical situations and record realistic damage, while add RPG elements when desired. It is from BattleTech that the term mech was popularized, but mech is not to be confused with the more general term of mecha. The games of Hideo Kojima, including the Metal Gear series and Zone of the Enders, include mecha as part of the main premise. In the former, which takes place during the modern day and near future, prototype nuclear-capable bipedal tanks called Metal Gears are a recurring element. In the latter, real robots called Lefts exist alongside a more super robot-like mecha type known as the orbital frame. In the tabletop game Warhammer 40,000, the forces use mecha of a variety of sizes and shapes. The Monolith Productions game Shogo Mobile Armor Division blended mecha gameplay with that of traditional first-person shooter games. Real walking vehicles. There are a few prototypes of walking vehicles. Currently almost all of these are experimental or proof of concept, and as such may never see mass production. A walking vehicle is a vehicle that moves on legs rather than wheels or tracks. Walking vehicles have been constructed with anywhere from 1 to more than 8 legs. They are classified according to the number of legs, with common configurations being 1 leg, 2 legs, 4 legs, and 6 legs. While the mobility of walking vehicles is arguably higher than that of wheeled tracked vehicles, their inherent complexity has limited their use mainly to experimental vehicles. Examples of manned walking vehicles include General Electric's walking truck, the University of Duisburg-Essen's ALDURO, Timberjack, who a subsidiary of John Deere, built practical hexapod walking forest machine. One of the most sophisticated real-world walking vehicles is the Martin Montensano-built Walking Beast, a 7-ton quadruped experimental vehicle suspended by 4 hydraulic binary configuration limbs with much greater dexterity. Some walking machines such as the Big Dog, an autonomous robot, have been designed for the potential military applications. The largest walking machine ever made is the Big Muskie dragline excavator, used primarily in mining operations. The Dragon of Fur Thimwald, a quadrupedal animatronic dragon created for a German festival, was recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's biggest walking robot. It is operated by remote control rather than a pilot. Dutch artist Theo Jansen has created many walking machines called Strandbeest that wander on Dutch beaches.